Welcome everyone to our virtual college fair for our Santa Barbara CALSOAP virtual college fair. Just a few reminders for our students and families coming into our fair today. Your cameras and microphones are off, so our representatives cannot see or hear you. But if you want to ask them any questions throughout the session, feel free to use the Q&A button on your screen. There are other sessions happening after this one, so feel free to sign up online to hear from some other great colleges and universities. And this session is also being recorded. So this recording will be online and available at strivescan.com/CalSOAP. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our first institution, Macquarie University.
Okay, thanks so much for joining, everybody. My name is Leanne Allen, and I represent Macquarie University, which is in Sydney, Australia. So being a student at Macquarie, you have the best of both worlds, the big cosmopolitan city experience, which has been ranked the top 3 most livable cities in the world. And then you can head to the beaches, which are stunning. And I know in Santa Barbara, there are awesome beaches too, but I would beg to say we have better beaches. This is Bondi Beach, which is one of the most famous beaches in Australia, in competition with Manly Beach, which is the second famous. This is about an hour away from campus. And fun fact for you, if you saw one new beach in Australia every day, it would take you 27 years to see them all. So a lot of exploring. From the beaches, you can head back to campus, which is a stunning Parklands University. We are home to 40,000 students, and of that, there are 12,000 international students. So an incredibly diverse student population, which is certainly one of my favorite things about it. And Sydney's been ranked a top 10 best student cities in the world. So there is a lot to get involved with. Being a student at Macquarie is somewhat similar to what you would experience on a US college. We have clubs and associations, over 130 on campus, and I definitely recommend students get involved in as many as possible in the first couple of weeks until you find your community. That first picture there is our Macquarie. We are named after the 5th governor of New South Wales, who was Scottish, hence why he's in a kilt. We don't have the NCAA or anything like that outside of the United States, but certainly lots of sports and competitions can be had. That second middle photo there is our Sports and Aquatic Centre, and I do like to point out that our weather does allow us to have a year-round outdoor swimming pool. If it's below 60 degrees in winter, we'll complain it's too cold. If it's above 90 degrees in summer, we'll complain it's too hot. So we do like a very temperate climate in Sydney, very Mediterranean. We have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support services available for students. So if you are feeling a bit homesick and want to speak to a professional, or if you've been out and lost your bag and you need to borrow an emergency $50, there is always someone there to help you. We also pride ourselves on innovation and entrepreneurship. So that bottom middle photo there is our incubator hub. So if you come to the university and you have an idea that you would like to bring to fruition, people at the Incubator Hub will certainly support you in doing that. Degrees in Australia are a little different to the US. Generally speaking, they are 3 years in duration, as we don't have general education requirements. So you need to know what you want to study at the time of application. If you're not entirely sure what you want to do, I generally recommend you do a double degree, so a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science, for example, which is 4 years in duration and covers the whole comprehensive area of studies. Our most popular courses are our accounting, international business, and business administration. We have really strong media and communications programs, as well as international relations, criminology, and cybersecurity. We specialize in software and telecommunications engineering, and fun fact for you, we actually invented Wi-Fi, so you're welcome. And we also specialize in environmental sciences, like climate change and sustainability. So if you're thinking about doing something like that, Sydney is a wonderful place to study it. Our flagship program is our Bachelor of Clinical Science and Doctor of Medicine degree, which is 6 years in duration and allows you to be a doctor at the end of that program. We do have on-campus accommodation. It is not guaranteed or compulsory, but as long as you apply early, you shouldn't have any problem getting a spot on campus. Mostly you will have your own bedroom. It's very rare for students to share bedrooms while at college, and Australians think it's pretty funny that Americans share bedrooms at college. So you will have your own bedroom, and you may have your own bathroom as well, depending on which option you do choose. Some of our Accommodation providers offer meal plans. It's a little different to the US that it isn't specific to the university, is based on your accommodation. So if the thought of cooking 3 meals a day, 7 days a week sounds miserable, it's best to opt for an accommodation provider that does offer a meal plan. So how much does it all cost? I think a lot of students are pleasantly surprised to see that it isn't crazy expensive to study in Australia. Our tuition is approximately $24,000 per year, which when you consider it's a 3-year degree program, it's not that bad. We estimate living costs to be about $15,000 per year. So that's your flights, accommodation, insurance, all that fun stuff, and all the expenses outside of your tuition. So the average cost of attendance is approximately $40,000. You can work while studying in Australia. A minimum wage is $20 an hour, which is pretty attractive. We also have merit-based scholarships. So the higher the GPA and or SAT scores that you have, the better the scholarship. You can also bring your US financial aid with you to Macquarie. We are one of 200 schools outside of the States where you can do that. You're also able to stay and work in Australia for 2 years after graduation if you would like, and the average graduate salary is about $55,000. It is free to apply to the university, and we offer rolling admissions, and it's a really straightforward, streamlined process, incredibly transparent as well. You can look online to see what is required to study at the university and what grades you need to get into specific degree programs, and based on that, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot if you meet the requirements. So as part of the free application, you just need to upload your transcripts and test scores if you have them, but we are currently test optional, so no problem if you haven't had a chance. And then within about 2 weeks, you'll receive an offer to the university. And so from there, you can apply for scholarships and financial aid and accommodation, and then accept your place in the program and book flights, get your visa and come to Australia. Don't worry, I will help you throughout that entire process, so no stress if that is a little too much there. Being in the Southern Hemisphere, our dates are a little bit different. We commence in the February and July of every year, so it's just like a delayed summer vacation if you start in the July, because you have December, January and February off to enjoy. That is it from me. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to meeting you in Sydney.
All right, up next we have Columbia University School of General Studies.
All right, hi everyone. Let me just set up my screen share. Okay, so my name is Emmett Ingram. I'm an admissions manager at Columbia University, and I work with the School of General Studies, which is one of our undergraduate divisions. I'm just working off of our slightly old PowerPoint presentation here, but it should still give you a sense for what I'm talking about. And just to kind of talk a little bit about what general studies is at Columbia. GS, as we call it, is the division of Columbia's undergraduate program that's specifically set aside for non-traditional students. And what that means for us is, for the most part, returning adult students who've had some kind of interruption in their education and are looking to come back and finish a bachelor's degree in the context of a rigorous undergraduate liberal arts Ivy League program. So we allow students who have had non-traditional life experiences and backgrounds to come in and complete their bachelor's degree through the context of Columbia's undergraduate program. If people have questions, by the way, about some of the other divisions at Columbia, I have limited knowledge about those, so I can answer them if I can, but I'm really here mainly to talk about general studies and the non-traditional division. I'll move through very quickly here and just tell you that first up, we have the timeline about Columbia University, which dates all the way back to 1754, and I won't go into extreme detail on that, but it's a very old institution. We're in New York City, Manhattan, Upper West Side, Broadway in Amsterdam, and we've been around for quite a while, but general studies within that has been around for a much shorter period. You can see we date back just to 1904, originally just an extensive teaching program at Columbia, and then really grew into its own in 1947, primarily as a way for returning World War II veterans to earn their college degrees at Columbia. Right now, we work with a really broad array of different students and students from different backgrounds. Military population is still one of the bigger demographics within that, but by no means the majority, one of many different kinds of students who've had non-traditional backgrounds, students who've had careers, taken time off for health reasons, cared for family members, started a family, served in the military. There's a lot of different kinds of students that come through and attend through GS. Columbia as a university is a pretty big institution. It has thousands of students at both the undergraduate and graduate level, but there are 20 specific schools that fall under that umbrella of the university, each one operating independently with its own admission office and having its own policies about enrolling students. 16 of those 20 are graduate programs. So you may have heard of Columbia's business school, medical school, law school, journalism. These are all at the professional and graduate level. But there are 4 separate admission offices that each work with undergraduate students. So I'll just very briefly show you that the 4 undergraduate programs are Columbia College, the School of General Studies, the engineering program, aka the Fu Foundation, and then Barnard College, which is the women's college at Columbia. So GS is one of the 4 divisions of Columbia. It is a pretty big chunk, though. It's about 2,200 students, which is more than a quarter of the total undergraduate population at Columbia, which is about 8,000 total. So GS is about 2,200. 76% of our students attend on a full-time basis, and 24 choose to attend part-time. So that's an option that our program offers. In fact, we also allow students who don't have an interruption in their education to apply if they have a compelling reason why they need to attend on a part-time basis. So that is an eligibility criteria as well. A little bit more male heavy, mostly because of the military population, but still very diverse, 38% self-identified students of color, 18% international students, and the average age is 28 or 27, depending on the year. So students are usually coming in at a very different stage in their lives than our traditional undergraduates. But the academic experience once you're here is completely the same. The majors that you have to choose from, the departments, the professors are all identical to what the traditional undergraduates would do. So you're really a Columbia student like any other once you're here. It's just a question of which admission office you come in through. The degree requirements, I won't go into a lot of detail here, but like most liberal arts colleges, you need about 120 credits, which is usually 4 years of full-time enrollment. 60 of our credits are made up of core curriculum requirements, which is a pretty big portion of your time as an undergraduate. And this is one of the kind of defining things about Columbia, is that all of our students do a really large swath of classes and subjects that are going to be outside of their major. So it really is in some ways the liberal arts personified through our core curriculum, which we're very proud of, but can also be something to sort of plan around as a student coming in. And then you'll also need to, of course, complete a major, which is usually about 30 credits. So we do have a lot of students coming into GS from a transfer background, and the maximum there is going to be 60 transfer credits that you can bring with you. So usually students have about 2 years, assuming they've earned that associate's or roughly the equivalent, if they're planning to attend full time. This is just a little bit more information about the core curriculum. We're very proud of it. It distinguishes us from other Ivy League schools. And you can see that it falls into these categories. So there are humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, composition, and some other areas as well. The majors are pretty wide ranging. I would say it's a pretty broad complement of liberal arts subjects. Really the only areas that we don't offer through our majors are what we call pre-professional subjects. So business, finance, accounting, management are not represented at Columbia at the undergraduate level, but pretty much anything in the natural sciences, social sciences, humanities, performing arts, languages, these are all parts of our curriculum and options for major. I would kind of confer you to the website if you have more questions about specifically the majors there. Our faculty are great. We're very proud of our faculty, 79 Nobel laureates throughout history, which I'm not sure that's going to have a huge impact on your experience day to day right now as a student at Columbia, but we do have a few of those right now too. So that's great. Okay, transfer credit here. Basically, the policy is that students have to apply, get an official transfer credit report from us after being admitted, and then from there make a decision about whether to enroll. So unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate. We don't have any articulation agreements or guarantees that specific classes you do at Santa Barbara or anywhere else will definitely count for transfer credit, but you will get that information about what your total report looks like before you have to make a final decision. There are guidelines on our website, but really the main thing is that you have to have a C or better in the coursework, and it has to be done in liberal arts subjects, not pre-professional subjects. There are a lot of resources that are made available to students at GS through our various offices, which I won't go into a ton of detail on here, but I'll just kind of close out and emphasize that there are tons of opportunities to get involved with the broader campus community through GS, and you're just as much a Columbia undergrad through GS as you would be through any of the other divisions. And of course, we have great student activities. We're in New York City, so you can see this is a great part of our location as well, opportunities for internships. And housing is also available through the university. So you would be housed. Yeah, it's not quite dorm housing, but it would be off-campus apartments. Okay, I think that's pretty much my time, so I'll close out. Thank you, guys.
Up next, we have Florida Southern College.
Alrighty, so I will get this set up, but to kick off, my name is Shannon Barnes. I'm one of the senior admissions counselors for Florida Southern, and I work with the West Coast kind of in general. FSC is a small, kind of very close-knit residential college located, despite the name, smack dab in the center of the state of Florida. So we're located in a town called Lakeland, which is about an hour from Orlando and about 45 minutes from Tampa. So despite the name Florida Southern, we're actually not very close to Miami. We're about 6 hours from there. But what you are in is a really cool town that is statistically one of the fastest growing areas in the country, very vibrant, with about 115,000 people within driving distance of about 8.5 million. We are an undergraduate institution at our core. About 2,500 of those 3,000 students are at the undergraduate level. So it is a very close-knit, very supportive environment as you're kind of looking for that small college setup. So within the college at Florida Southern, there's officially 5 schools, but what we do is we consider ourselves a comprehensive college with a liberal arts core. And what that winds up meaning is that with a couple notable exceptions, you apply to the college as a whole. You can come in with an area of interest, that's definitely very common, but you don't apply directly to, say, the School of Business and stay within the School of Business your entire time at FSC. If you decide that you want to, say, double major in business and something like philosophy, that's very easy to do and very common. Statistically, about 40% of Florida Southern students double major and plenty more do minors across those different schools. If you are looking at a couple specific programs, most notably our direct entry 4-year Bachelor of Science in Nursing, you do need to apply directly to that program. The nursing program at FSC is first-year entry only, so they don't accept transfers into the program. So if you're looking at the nursing program, indicate that as your first choice major on your application, and that'll let us know that you want to be reviewed for that direct entry program. The other big ones to note that have a little bit of a different admissions process are Bachelor of Fine Art programs in things like musical theater and dance, which do require an audition. And I can definitely give you more information about those. But across those kind of 70 different academic programs, we really see about 40% of our students involved in some type of STEM. We're particularly well known for kind of pre-med, biology, biochemistry, marine biology. Another 20% or so will be involved in business, so business, accounting, data analytics, things like that. We see a lot of students in psychology and criminology, communications. So we really span a wide variety of different opportunities. But realistically, one of the things that we talk about most is that we really value that engaged learning experience at Florida Southern. We want you to be hands-on, we want you to be doing things. The average class size is going to be very small, but more importantly, what that means is that you're going to be doing things in your classes. So on a day-to-day basis, you're going to be working with the business programs and those Wall Street simulators. You're going to be doing case studies. You're going to be doing research projects. You're going to be working in the TV lab. It's going to be you being very engaged in what you do. And that's certainly true for stuff like the honors program, but you don't have to be part of the honors program to get involved with research. It's pretty common for first years to get involved in research, certainly in the sciences, but in the rest of the academic experience as well. The other thing that we talk a lot about at Florida Southern is how much of your learning happens outside the classroom. So there's a couple of things that we really structure into your 4-year plan at FSC, what we call kind of the 3 guarantees. So the first big one is that we want to make sure that you get a chance to study abroad. And after your 4th semester at Florida Southern, you actually receive a credit as part of your tuition to help you study abroad. So those are set up as junior journey programs that can be done over the summer during breaks. You can use that credit towards a semester or a year-long program. It's really designed to be very flexible so you can fit it into your academic plan and make sure that you get that international experience. We think that's something that's really important for students and want to make sure it's accessible. We do guarantee at least one internship. It's pretty common for students to graduate with 4 or 5 under their belt between all of the different Fortune 500 companies that have branches or are headquartered in Lakeland. There's a ton of business opportunities, but there's also plenty of other opportunities, including places like Disney and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So regardless of what industry you're interested in entering after graduation, there's a ton of cool work experience. And then we also guarantee that you're going to graduate within 4 years. It's really important to us that you have a strong academic advising team in place. You know what your time to graduate is going to be. So if you are coming in and holding up your end of the bargain by, doing your homework and meeting with your advisor frequently, we do guarantee that you're going to get out of Florida Southern in 4 years. So what that all winds up meaning is that we have statistically very strong outcomes placements. About a third of Florida Southern students will continue directly into some form of graduate school, med school, professional school, do an MBA. The other 2/3 will continue on into the workforce. And we really want you to take the experience that you have at Florida Southern and run with it to do whatever you want to do post-graduation. The unofficial fourth guarantee is housing. We do guarantee housing and we are a residential campus. You can see down there at the kind of bottom left, we are located right on Lake Hollingsworth, which is a super beautiful campus to be part of. We've been ranked one of the most beautiful campuses in the country for a long time, and we are a National Historic Landmark for Frank Lloyd Wright architecture, which is pretty cool. Definitely gives the campus kind of a unique feel. In terms of sports, if you're interested in playing sports for Florida Southern, we're Division II NCAA. So if you want to get in contact with coaches, let me know. But there's also plenty of intramurals and other things to get involved in as well. If sports aren't your jam, there's a ton of other stuff to do. So we tend to see a lot of students who are very involved in community service or who are really actively involved with things like environmentalism work around here. There is Greek life available. About a third of the students are Greek in a high year, about 25% in a low year. So it's there if you want it, but not an overwhelming portion. And you might see the campus ministries thing down there. Florida Southern is officially affiliated with the United Methodist Church, but there are no religious requirements. The largest population of students on campus lists their religious affiliation as no affiliation. So if you want religious experiences to be part of your college plan, cool. If not, it's not like it's an obligation for you. So application-wise, we're a free application of Common App and Coalition. We're test optional for both admission and scholarships, and you will automatically be evaluated for financial aid when you apply. So if you have any questions about financial aid, I'm also your financial aid counselor. Let me know if you have anything that you want to talk about. Visits are available virtually and in person, so that's a good option to check out. And I'll leave my contact information here as I wrap up.
All right, thank you so much. Next up, we have University of California, Irvine.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to get started as the presentation starts to share. So hello, thank you for being here. My name is Janelle Cardenas, and I'm the Assistant Director for Transfer Initiatives here at UC Irvine. And I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Anna.
Hi, my name is Anna. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm an admissions counselor on our first year outreach team here at UCI. I'm also an alumni of the university, so super excited to get to share a little bit more about our campus with you all today. Skipped a slide. So these are just a few of our rankings. We've got so many great rankings and we're really proud of all of them, but we are a top 10 public university. We've also been ranked #1 best value among public universities, #2 cool school for sustainability, and so many other cool things. But I'll let my colleague talk a little bit about what that actually looks like on our campus.
Yeah, so here on the slide, you can see what our admission summary looked like for this incoming fall of 2021. So you can see how many applicants we received for first year and transfers, what that ended up being in admits, and their admit rate as well is right there. So it's about almost 29% for first year and almost 38% for transfer students. And then on the right, you can see what the GPA averages were for incoming first years, as well as what the median GPA was for our community college students. Again, these will just give you a good idea of what the GPA looks like. We have different GPA, especially for transfer students, depending on major. So it's really important that you do the research to figure out what is actually required of you.
All right, but those are just kind of some of our numbers and rankings. What's it actually look like to be a student on our campus? We offer over 85 different majors and over 70 minors across 14 different academic schools. We do admit by major on our campus, so definitely take some time to look into what those 85 different majors are. Just in case you didn't know, we do use that UC application, and when you select Irvine as a campus, you're going to want to put both in primary and an alternate major because we do admit by major. But when you get down to academics at UCI, we are a research institution and we really do put research at the forefront. We include our undergraduates in that. So research is open to all academic disciplines at UCI, and that ends up looking like about 73% of our undergraduate students participating in research prior to graduating. Because we do research in all different academic disciplines, research looks like a lot of different things on our campus, and there are so many different ways that our students can get involved. One of the really cool programs that we do offer is our Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, or UROP, which actually allows our undergraduate students to design their own research. They submit a proposal, receive funding, receive faculty support, and are able to really dive into what they're passionate about and structure their research to look like what they want it to.
And in order to better support our students, we want to make sure we have a lot of academic support for them outside of, of course, you want to enjoy the experience, but you want to make sure you're successful as a student as well. So here you can see some of the opportunities that students have to be involved, to get support. So it includes our academic counseling. We have our LARC Center, the Learning and Academic Resource Center, as well as specifically for transfer students, we have a Transfer Student Center, which is going to help students not just acclimate, get for that transition period onto campus, but also think about what am I going to do after I graduate as well. So we have a variety of resources that can help students academically. And beyond that, our campus is recognized as, if we could go to the next slide. Yeah, we have a variety of recognitions in terms of what students are able to, we have a few different recognitions here. So we have like our Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander designation. We also we're designated as a Hispanic serving institution. So we have a variety of ways that students can get resources based off their the way that they recognize themselves. And, a lot of these centers, although they are meant for specific populations, like we have our also called the CBCRR, the Center for Black Cultures, Resources and Research, but all students can still get access to these centers as well as we have a Dream Center, we have our Latinx Resource Center. So a variety of ways that students can be supported, not just academically, but also socially. And again, thinking about what are they going to do after they graduate as well.
But we don't just have academics. As we are supporting all of our students, we want to make sure that they have a vibrant life on campus as well. So we're located in Irvine, California, in between LA and San Diego. Irvine as a city for the last 15 years has actually been ranked the safest city of its size. We're really close to the beach. We're close to Disneyland. There's a lot of really great food in the area. So there's definitely a lot to do in the Irvine area, as well as on our campus. Our campus is actually set up in a really large circle with a park in the center of campus, which is what my virtual background is. But we have lots of fun events in that park, lots of fun events on campus. One of the events that we host every fall is our Anteater Involvement Fair, where all 600 student organizations and clubs can come out and get other students involved. We also do have housing communities on campus, which is just another way to make sure that our students have a really smooth campus life and are able to kind of get involved and get student life experiences. Both of those are all of our different housing communities. We do have 2 dining halls as well that offer a variety of food for all diets. And we even offer over 20 on-campus cafes and restaurants, including 3 Starbucks alone.
So from here, we definitely recommend that you all get connected with us in case you have any questions. We have a variety of virtual events that are happening that you can find on our website, as well as ways that you can contact us are here on the slide. And the last thing I wanted to point out is we are offering in-person campus tours as well as virtual live stream tours. We recommend that you check the website regularly because they do add new dates for these in-person tours. Of course, we have to make sure we're following all the guidelines. So they are pretty limited at this point, but they're adding new dates regularly. So we definitely recommend that you check us out. And yeah, thank you so much again for allowing us to be here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A or put it in the chat.
All right, thank you, everyone. Unfortunately, we did have two schools who were not able to join us today. That was Southern New Hampshire University and also Charles R. Drew University. However, if you are interested in learning more about their institutions, feel free to check out their website. Definitely check out their resources and what they have to offer online. But at this time, we aren't just done with our session just yet tonight. I'd like to invite all of our representatives to come back on screen. I do have at least two questions for our reps to kind of answer and give their thoughts on. Our first question tonight is going to be, what is your best piece of advice that you have for students going through the college search process? And we're going to go in the same order that everyone presented in for the session.
I'm obviously biased because I represent an international university, but I would say look far and wide because there's so many incredible opportunities for you during your college degree. You're probably never going to have the opportunity again to be so free and try so many different things. So even if the thought of going overseas for a full degree, it sounds a little daunting, make sure you at least go for a semester.
Yeah, I would say cast a wide net, certainly give yourself options as you look at schools. And also, I think it can be helpful to think about what your long-term goals are academically and professionally, and to think about what schools are going to be best positioned to help you achieve that. Whether you're at a stage where you're still figuring it out, or if you have something very specific in mind, it's a great idea to be in touch with the admission office, speak with actual people, and try to get a sense from them whether this program is going to be a good fit. And so I guess my bottom line would be, come talk to admissions because that's what we're here for.
I think one of the things that I really regretted about my college search process was that I didn't set aside a specific email for all of the email that you will receive during the whole college admissions arc that you are about to go through or are in the middle of. Email is usually the way that we let you know about things like being eligible for flight reimbursements, being eligible for certain scholarships. That's often where notifications about admissions decisions will come through. So it's really important that you're checking your email frequently. So set up a specific email that is going to be dedicated just to college stuff and check it frequently is my advice to you.
And then for me, I think the biggest thing is kind of similar to what my colleagues here have mentioned, is figure out where's your best fit. I think a lot of times we have pressure societally, friends, family, that telling us where we think we should go, what sort of major we should do, but ultimately, where are you going to be successful as a student? What sort of factors are most important to you? Location, size, diversity, what sort of programs do they have available for you? So I think that would be the biggest recommendation that I can give to you, is block out all the other outside pressures and really focus on where do you think you're going to be the most successful student, and where do you think you're going to have a good fit, where are you going to have a good time, because you want to enjoy the experience too. So that would be my recommendation.
My recommendation is kind of similar to that, but taking a different spin. Ask a lot of questions, be really involved in this process. I know for me, this was the first choice that I made about my education. Everything else, I was just kind of doing what my parents said, but for college, I was the one picking. So again, ask questions. You're going to be the one living through that experience. So make sure it is the one that you want. And also, I totally agree with the email thing too.
Awesome. Next question is, what is one thing you want students to remember about your school? Or this can be interpreted as if you have a fun fact about your school. However you want to answer this question, we will go in the same order.
I would say that being a big public school and where we're located, it offers the best of all worlds to all students. So that big cosmopolitan city experience with the wonderful outdoor opportunities and a really vibrant international place to study and learn. And it's not that far away from the US, I promise.
Yeah, I think I would also highlight Columbia's location, which is one of the most urban options that you can go for on that spectrum. I think there's tons of great events and opportunities that come along with that. Being in the city, you have Broadway, you have opportunities for internships, and Columbia has great reach and connections. So I think there's also a little bit of the best of both, that you have the fun and also the work elements at Columbia. So yeah, that would be my fun fact.
I think the fun fact that I always like to drop in is that Florida Southern is the only four-year citrus major in the country. So we have a really cool opportunity if you're interested in biotechnology and horticulture, in emerging ways to tackle agriculture and environmentalism issues. That's a really cool and very unique program that is really informed by our Central Florida location. So I think that's a really cool, very unique opportunity here if you are interested.
For me, I think something that's very unique about our campus is actually the way it's laid out. I know Anna kind of briefly mentioned this earlier, but it's basically a circle. We have our ring road that goes all the way around campus, and it was designed intentionally to try to increase collaboration between our different academic units and between our students and our faculty, but also to help students hopefully not get lost on campus. If you start at one point, you'll get back to that same point by going around the circle. But yes.
And then I'll throw my little fun fact in. Our students really into Boba. While it's not a requirement to be on our campus, all of our students really have a thing for Boba. So just a fun fact for you.
Awesome. And we do have time for one more question. And I know I gave this to our reps a little bit last minute, but if there is one thing or one myth you would like to debunk about the admissions process, if you have anything you would like to debunk, what would that one thing be?
May as well stick with the international theme and say that it's really not that expensive to study overseas, and you'll probably be quite surprised how affordable it is compared to a lot of schools in the US. So definitely investigate that.
I think my program in particular, admissions is not all about numbers and not all about GPA and test scores. We actually waived the testing score requirement during COVID, and I would say for my program in particular, general studies, the non-traditional program, we're really interested in your story and background. So the essay that you write for our application is actually really important. So don't count yourself out if you've had rough times in the past, up and down grades. You have an opportunity to tell your story. So that's what our program's all about.
I think I'll echo some of the financial stuff that's been said in that I think there's this myth that private schools are automatically going to be much more expensive than an in-state public. And financial aid is one of those things that's really dependent on your situation, what you receive from individual schools, what state aid might be available. There's a lot of moving parts. So don't count schools out just because of what you see listed as the sticker price on their website, but also ask for help. Like there's a ton of resources available and people are available to help you navigate that. So work with the resources that are available and don't like cut anything out just because of cost, I think is my suggestion.
Yeah, and again, to kind of echo everyone else, I think, especially for the UCs, there's this misconception, I think a lot of times, again, similar, that we consider a lot of grades. And of course, especially for transfer students, it's really important you meet the requirements. But beyond that, we really want to consider you. We do a whole comprehensive review process where we're looking at everything that's on the application. So all of your activities, awards, volunteer work, community service, your whole personal insight questions, we read all of it. And we really want to understand more about you because we don't have interviews. So this is our way to really get to know more about you in your own words.
All right. My myth that I think I would like to debunk, similar kind of to we are looking at the whole picture thing. I think students sometimes think that we're lying when we say be yourself on the application, and that we're looking for something specific that's like the key to getting into everywhere, and there's no key. Really, truly just be yourself. We want to know what you're passionate and interested in. We want to know what you do in your free time, all of those kind of little pieces that put together what you've been up to for the last 4 years. We're truly interested, so we're not lying. Be yourself.
Awesome. It's always great to hear what our college reps have to say, their thoughts on different things. So thank you for sharing, everyone. So at this time, we just like to wrap up our session for today. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you to our students and our families for joining us for our session to hear about these awesome colleges and universities. Thank you to our reps for taking the time to share information with us. For our attendees, there is a quick survey after you close the window, just 5 questions to share some feedback about how the session went. Also, again, there are more sessions happening, so feel free to sign up for more. And this recording will be available online at strivescan.com/CalSOAP. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time, and I hope everybody has a good weekend and the rest of their week, and stay safe. Thanks everybody for joining.